To another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Let's not waste no time. Let's get right to it. So, in the 1990 first round of the 1990 NBA playoffs, the Celtics met the Knicks in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Okay, and so the Celtics won the first two. Let me see. Okay. There we go. Okay. So the Celtics won the first two pretty easily. Boston won game 116 and 105. And then Boston won game 2 pretty convincingly, 157 and 128. So the Celtics had a field day with the New York Knicks in the first two games. And the Knicks only finished 45 and 37 that in 1990, and they were 1-3 against the Celtics in the season series. Okay, so it looked like the Celtics were on their way to facing the Pistons, who had swept the Pacers in the first round, and the Pistons lost 3 or 4 to the Celtics during the regular season. So the Celtics were 3-1 against the Pistons in the regular season series. And so it would have been an interesting dynamic if the Pistons had played the Celtics in the second round of the 1990 NBA playoffs. And what if the Celtics played the Bulls in the 1990 Eastern Conference Finals, okay? We'll never know the answer to that because of what happened in Game 3. The phantom bogus calls against the Celtics in Game 3 that led to a shift in the series, okay? So, in the Game 3, 1990, it was early in the fourth quarter where Larry Bird made an inbounds pass to Kevin McHale, and Kevin McHale was standing in the corner, and there was like 1 second left on the shot clock, okay? And Bird was able to thread the needle to McHale, and McHale hit a 3, which he did 23 times during the regular season. Kevin McHale hit 23 threes in 1990. So Kevin McHale had range on his jump shot. But Hugh Hollins, how many bad calls has that guy made before? AKA, ain't that right, Chicago Bulls? You remember that name, right? Anyway, Hugh Hollins was at the top side position. Hugh Hollins, the referee, was at the top side position, and he ruled the ball was out of bounds, and replays showed that the ball did not hit out of bounds, and the referee, who was standing under the basket, who had a 100% clear view, never said anything. Okay, so that was just the first of many bogus calls that went against the Celtics in Game 3. Okay, Excuse me for a second. I gotta get hit water. Okay, so that was the first of many bogus calls against the Celtics in 1990. So Jimmy Rodgers, who was the coach at that time, he argued, but instead of the score being 86-82 Celtics, the score was still 86-79. Then a short time later, Patrick Ewing traveled, which the officials missed the call, and Ewing missed the shot. But Bird got the ball and threw down to McHale, who was called for traveling when he didn't even take any steps. So that was the second bogus call that went against the Celtics in Game 3. Reggie Lewis blocked a reverse layup shot by Johnny Newman and got called for a foul. That's 4 bogus calls, I believe. Charles Oakley took an inbounds pass under the hoop while falling out of bounds in an attempt to draw a foul. Traveled and had his layup rejected by Kevin McHale, who was called for a foul. So that's 5 bogus calls that went against the Celtics. But there's more. Ewing hit McHale with a illegal screen, which the referees clearly saw that, but called nothing. Then there was a bogus call on Larry Bird. There was a bogus loose ball foul call on Larry Bird, called by none other than Hugh Hollins. Then soon, later on in the fourth quarter, Bird hit a 3-point play. He hit a 16-footer over Johnny Newman. It was down to 93-88. Gerald Wilkins came back and scored. McHale came back and scored. Bird missed, but Parrish hit 2 free throws. Okay. So, short while later, Ewing dunked on Parrish. Gerald Wilkins missed. And Reggie Lewis hit a shot. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, and Reggie Lewis hit a shot to cut the lead to 4. Okay. So Reggie Lewis hit a shot to cut the lead to 4. Johnny Newman missed. Oakley fouled out. Then another basketball scored 98 to make it 98-96. Robert Parrish blocked a Ewing shot. Parrish missed. And Ewing made a shot to go back up by 4. Then Dennis Johansson came up big. He hit a jumper to cut it to 198. And then Lewis missed a critical free throw, but hit 1 to make it 199. And then Kenny Walker hit the game winner. Kenny Walker hit the game winner. It was like a 15-footer he hit. And so Bird missed the game-winning 3-pointer on the Celtics' final possession of the game. Bird missed the 3-pointer. And that was a momentum turner for the Celtics. And that set off a chain of events, which I'm about to get into. But this game, the Knicks were 21-2 in offensive rebounds. The Celtics had 21 turnovers, and the Knicks had 27 more field goal attempts this game. Okay, so the Knicks won Game 4 pretty easily, 135-108. Ewing had 44 points and 13 rebounds. He went 18 of 24 Bird, Lewis, and McHale combined for 68 points. But Parrish and DJ, Dennis Johnson, combined for only 14 points. Okay. And the Knicks shot 59% for the game. And so the Knicks came back for game 5. And they rallied in the second half to knock off the Celtics and send them home for the season, 121 to 114. In game 5, the Knicks hit 70% of their shots in the second half. Ewing played big, 31 points, 17 rebounds. Bird had 31 points. Dennis Johnson in his final NBA game, 21 points and 10 assists. Like I said, the Knicks shot 59% for the game and shot 86% on free throws. Bird missed a reverse dunk late in game 5. As Bird was pulled from the game, he didn't look at Coach Jimmy Rodgers. He didn't say nothing to Jimmy Rodgers. Made no contact with Jimmy Rodgers. And so the Celtics' 5-game defeat in the first round set off a chain of events that really cost Jimmy Rodgers his job, okay? Jimmy Rodgers had taken over the previous season for K.C. Jones in 1989, and he was in his second season. But that playoff loss cost Jimmy Rodgers his job. And he eventually landed on his feet. Got a job as the Minnesota Timberwolves coach. But then later on, I believe he replaced Johnny Bach as Phil Jackson's assistant in Chicago. Okay. So he came to the Bulls for the 1995 season and was with them for all 3 of their championships. Okay. So Jimmy Rodgers pretty much landed on his feet. Anytime you can go to the best coach in the history of the NBA and Phil Jackson as his assistant, yeah, I think that's landing on your feet pretty damn well. Okay. But he did have to coach the Minnesota Timberwolves first. Okay. Anyway. So the 5-game loss cost Jimmy Rodgers his job, okay? And just a quick recap of the 1990 Celtics. They started out 12-10, and they went 40-20 the rest of the way. Okay, so Bird came back and played in 75 games that year. He had played in only 6 the entire last season in 89, okay? And so I mentioned they started out 12-10. So Bird was pretty much on a roll early in the season. But at some point over the next 20 games, they only went 10-10, which included a 124-92 butt stomping by the Knicks. Okay. And so early in the season, they were playing the Bulls at Chicago Stadium. Game was tied at 100. John Bagley has the ball. He gets the ball to Bird, who is being checked by Pippen. Bird gets the ball, hits the game winner over Pippen for a 102-100 victory over the Bulls at Chicago Stadium. Okay. And so, there were some rumors of conflict between Jim Paxson and Kevin McHale. And when Bird was made aware of conflicts with some of his teammates, Bird said, "Those who criticize me have always been losers." Okay. And not only that, Bird also took this criticism to average 24.3 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 7.5 assists per game. And on his way to winning comeback player of the year. Okay. He shot 93% from the free throw line, 47% from field goal range, but because of the Achilles injury, the age and the Achilles injury he had. Achilles injuries, bone spurs. He only was shooting 33% from three. Okay. So, he was shooting his worst percentage from three in 1990, but still won Comeback Player of the Year in spite of this. But he was only named to NBA second team. Okay. He was named to the All NBA second team. Okay. So the bogus calls in Game 3 led to the firing of Jimmy Rodgers, because those bogus calls really shifted the momentum of that series. And Chris Ford succeeded Jimmy Rodgers as head coach for the 90-91 season. And so as far as the Knicks go, let's just say they never should have played the Pistons in the second round, because they got destroyed by 35 points in Game 1. Okay. The Knicks got their butts handed to them in Game 1 by 35 points. They lost Game 2 as well. They did win Game 3. Ewing scored 45 points in Game 3 in their only Knicks victory, but they were pretty much brushed aside pretty easily by the Pistons 4-1. So, the Knicks really had no business playing the Pistons in the second round. And if it wasn't for those bogus calls in Game 3, the Celtics would have swept the Knicks, and it would have been Pistons versus Knicks, second round. We all know Chicago was better than Philly. So, man, it could have been Boston and Chicago in the 1990 Eastern Conference Finals. And Chicago could have advanced to play either Phoenix or Portland in the West. But we'll never know that. Why? Because of the bogus calls in Game 3. But anyway, that's it for Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God bless. Peace out. I'll see y'all on the next one.